here to equip you. I have a difficult topic that I want to share with you. It's probably actually maybe everybody's favorite topic, conflict, right? Raise your hand if you love it. Anybody at all. Well, I am a mom of 2 teenage girls and also a mom of a 2-year-old boy. So I may be something of a conflict expert just in that. I also have spent almost 20 years in the world of politics, which you may have noticed is slightly conflicting on occasion there. So, but I enjoy it and I love it. And the important thing about conflict is that it presents opportunity. So I want everybody to say something before I get started today. And I think this is the most important thing that you are going to hear today. I want you to say, I am enough. You are enough. You are going to change it. I love what Mona said. I am the one I have been waiting for. That is so true. And in fact, I was going to mention Esther. God must have really put the story of Esther on our hearts because I was going to mention Esther. Kimberly's written a story about that, and I was going to bring it up. But I am the one I've been waiting for. We were called for such a time as this. And if you don't believe that mothers are the ones to stand up to what is going on in our culture today, who are you waiting for? If it's not us, then who is it going to be? If it's not now, then when is it going to be? Who can speak to the issue of life better than mothers? Who can speak to the issue of family better than mothers? Of freedom, of sacrifice. My children are still young. There's lots I don't know. Man, there's lots I'm learning. Boys are different, by the way. Really, no matter what they say, really, really different. My counterpart in Moms for America, our other vice president, Karen Vaughn, is a Gold Star mom. And you'll hear her on other mom talks speak of the sacrifice, the real sacrifice that she has made. Her only son was killed as a Navy SEAL defending this nation. And when I think of that, and I think of the stories that each one of us have, you come to this table, you're watching this presentation, you've walked your own road. We all have our own story and our way that we got there, and that's the most beautiful thing. And God has given us that story, and it's being written every day. If you don't like what was in the chapter yesterday, his mercies are new every morning. And if that is not something as a mom, is there anything that we're more grateful for? Coffee and God's mercies being new every morning. That conflict presents opportunity, and that's what I want to talk about today. Look at what is going on around us, and Mona referenced this in the culture. And I know we all know the problems. I'm a solutions girl. I don't really want to talk about the problems. We know what's going on. All you have to do is turn on the TV for 5 minutes, and you'll want to turn it back off. But what is it that the world wants to do to us? When does evil prevail? How's the phrase go? I know y'all know this. There are some homeschool mothers in this room. When does evil prevail? When good men do nothing. When good men and good women do nothing, that's when we let evil prevail. Well, who are the good men and women, right? What did Mona say? We're the ones we've been waiting for. And how do they get us to do nothing? They beat us down. Now, as a mother, that is not really hard to do because every day beats us down, right? The laundry and the dishes and the school and everything that we have to do beats us down. But that's not what our Father intended for us. Of course, we were created for joy. Joy. Are you joyful this morning? Maybe, maybe not. But we were intended for joy. We were also intended, as Mona said, for that love and that kindness. And the world tries to divide us. Think about that for a second. How are they winning right now? Because they divide us on every single line on which we can be divided. Our age, our income, our race, our education, right? What party do we vote for? What candidates do we support? So when you talk to people, and I want to address that conflict a little bit, when you talk to people, if you come at it from we are so different, you're never going to get anywhere. The first thing we should do when talking to people, even in our own family, maybe y'all don't have any conflict in your family. I'm just maybe not. But when we talk about that conflict, what are the ways that make us the same first? If we can learn to look at other people and see what brings us together first, that's going to be more helpful later on when we want to address the difficult issues. And motherhood is the great unifier, right? That's something we all have in common, no matter where we come from or what we do or what our husbands do, how many kids we have. That motherhood heart is what brings us together. I want you to think about something. When someone comes to you and they're hostile about an issue, Why do you think that they're hostile? Now, if they're running for office, obviously, that's a different, let's take the media pundits and the candidates and the politicians, let's take that out. Let's talk about real people. When somebody's hostile about something, it's because generally they care about it, they're passionate about it. And you may not understand how they got to that place where they are, but that's part of what you need to think about when you want to approach them with conflict. But let me back up for a second. Why is conflict even important? Why do we even need to have difficult conversations? If we agree with everybody, are we changing the world? And this is a hard thing, but I am here to tell you, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, right? If we agree with everything, if you see something on the news and you just nod your head and you don't turn to your kids and say, that is not right. If they bring home something from school and you look at it and you don't call that teacher or I'll admit to emailing the administration just the other day on something, right? If you don't say anything, if you just look at it and say, well, wow, that's not right. Okay, I'm gonna move on, right? If we treat life like we do our Facebook feed, y'all, really? Scroll. Wow, that's awful. Scroll. Ooh, really? That's terrible. Scroll. And we're all guilty of doing it. We are being numbed. We are being numbed to what is out there because so many things try to beat us down. So when you hear something, when you hear a friend say something in church, in Bible study, in a meeting, at work, wherever you are, if you hear them say something, at what point do we decide to confront them? When do we stand up? We hear a lot about anti-bullying, right? We hear a lot about that all over the place. But nobody ever talks about the truth being bullied. And that's what's happening in the media, in our culture, in our entertainment, in our schools. So at what point do we stand up and say, you know what, that's not right, and I'm going to do something about it? So I want to give you a couple tools today on how to do that. When you're talking to people, I believe the most important phrase that you can use is, I hear what you're saying. It is a wonderful, useful phrase. It also is very helpful in marriage. Yes, dear, I hear what you're saying. It does not mean that you agree with the person, right? I'm acknowledging you as a person. You have an opinion. We're different on that, but I hear what you're saying. So let's talk about that. It's a place to start, right? If someone's yelling at you, you don't yell back. We have to be people of principle, and we have emotion. I mean, we're women. It's kind of the way we're built. But that's not the place from which we need to speak, especially not when there's anger involved. We take a deep breath. And of course, the most important thing we can do is to pray, right? To get up every morning and pray for the armor of God. I'm sure you guys do that all the time, but also pray for the opportunity, right? God, it's hard, and I don't know how I do it, but please put somebody in my path today. Please give me a situation where I can try to be your light and be the change that needs to happen. And he promises to give us the right words. Absolutely. So if we ask him for that and we do it for his glory, the right words will come to us. I hear what you're saying. If you come from a place where they have been, then own that. You know what? I used to think exactly the way you did. I used to walk that road. I used to vote that way. I supported that person's campaign, whatever it is, until I came to the conclusion that, until I read this, until God put this on my heart. That is the best witness that you can ever give. You know what? I hear you, and I was right where you are. And then my eyes were opened, right? Whether it's the topic of life, whether it's the topic of saving our freedoms, our First Amendment right. I mean, you can just name all the things that are under attack right now. I was where you are. And we don't ever need to point to people close to us in a personal situation and say, you are wrong. Although they may be, and that certainly is what you want to do. Get it out of your system while you watch the news, right? You can talk to those people all you want to. Tell them they're wrong. My dad does that. I think it makes them feel better. I'm not sure why. But when you're talking to somebody, I hear what you're saying. And I can understand why some people think that way. But this is why they are wrong, right? You put it over onto other people, not just them. This is why they are wrong. Give them that personal understanding. Try to identify the flaws and what they're talking about. But remember, the point is to connect on what we have in common. We have to have the difficult conversations. You know, everybody has a crazy Uncle Larry or the such. I apologize if I've offended anyone. I try to pick a name that is just out there. But at Thanksgiving, we have the difficult conversations, right? We all know somebody. In fact, you could think of somebody right now with whom you need to have that conversation. Why do you have that bumper sticker on the car? Do you realize when you support that organization, do you realize what it is that you're supporting? When you let that happen in your school and you let these things be taught about gender or about pro-choice, you understand what that's doing to our culture? What this generation tolerates, the next generation will embrace. I believe that with my whole heart. If we tolerate it as mothers, and it starts with us, if we tolerate it as mothers, the next generation will embrace it. If we say, well, man, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix it? I'm one person. You know what? You are. And if you don't believe that on our watch what's happening to this country, and we don't have a duty to the next generation, to our kids and our grandkids, to stand up against this evil, and that's what it is. Name it, and then own your responsibility for it. Because if it's not you, then who's it going to be? Are you going to pass that to your daughter? Is it going to be hers to worry about? You are enough, ladies. You are enough. And the devil will tell you that you are not, that you don't know enough to speak out. You're not smart enough. You didn't go to that kind of school. You don't really know about the issues. Ooh, they're giving all those numbers and facts and figures, and I don't really know. Well, if celebrities say it's true, what do you know? Mom, you're just a mom, right? Is there anything that is more false than saying you're just a mom? Yeah, you know what? I am, and I'll own it all day long. I'm just a mom, and I'm thankful every day for that gift, for that role, for that responsibility that I've been given. So you are enough, and as soon as you believe you're enough, God will make you that kind of woman. We've all heard that expression, right? So when you're, be the kind of woman, when your feet hit the floor in the morning, the devil says, she's awake, right? That's us. I want you to feel that and to own that and to be that person, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. Galatians 6:9 says, let us not become weary in doing good, for in due time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Think about that. In due time, y'all. Not my time, not your time, maybe not even in our lifetime. We may never see it, but we are promised by our Creator that we will reap harvest if we don't give up. You cannot change everybody's mind. You cannot fix every situation, but all you have to do is be the light in the places where God put you, to plant a seed in the place where you were planted. That's all we're asked to do. Take it one day at a time and understand that we have a profound impact on the next culture through our children. I want to leave you with one more verse, and this is I've been with Moms for America now for just a few months, not even a year. And the one thing that comes to mind, and every time I speak to people about this organization, what sums it up is a verse from, I know we all know Proverbs 31, but 31:25 speaks to my heart, and I want to share it with you before I go. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she walks without fear of the future. We do not have to be afraid. Wake up every day and know you do not have to be afraid. Clothe yourself in strength and dignity with the essence of womanhood. Be who you were created to be, and laugh in the face of the future. Love and be full of joy. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I can't wait to see where this road takes us all. Peace be with you.